I am a huge admirer of Naughty Dog, the famed development team behind Crash Bandicoot and the more recently the Uncharted series. They're a developer that just seems to know how to do everything. One second they're creating a punishing platformer and the next they're creating some of the best adventure games out there. Now they have decided to take an even more unexpected turn and try to emulate that success with a different genre altogether, that being survival horror. Of course, I'm talking about the hugely anticipated title The Last of Us, a Sony exclusive title that is set in post-apocalyptic America. I guess the question is, can Naughty Dog prove once more that they are one of the best developers out there, or is this a new low? Let's find out.
Well, I have some interesting news for you.
Where were you, Tess?
West End District. Hey, we had a drop to make.
We had a drop to make.
Well, you wanted to be left alone, remember?
So I'll take one guess. The whole deal went south and the client made off with our pills. Is that about right?
Deal went off without a hitch.
The Last of Us takes place in post-apocalyptic America, 20 years after a ferocious fungus known as cordyceps infected mankind and turned most of the living into deformed, depraved drones. You are set in the boots of Joel, a survivor from before the outbreak that is tasked with escorting a young girl born in the quarantine zone after the outbreak, named Ellie, across the United States in the hopes of finding the Fireflies, a rebel group that offer a hope for survival in a hopeless world. The storyline in The Last of Us may sound simple, but in actual fact it's far from it. Never before has a game grabbed a hold of me completely from the start and held me all the way to the end. It's a testament to Neil Druckmann's excellent writing and the power of the human emotion. Emotion is what powers every single action on screen, and thanks to the excellent characters and the subtlety in the way they are written, half the time you won't even know that you're connecting to them. The Last of Us is hands down the most dark, cold and saddening opening to a video game I have ever seen. Never has a video game completely attached me to its characters so quickly, and the best part is that it stays like that till the credits. Honestly, it's just that good. The characters of Joel and Ellie are so different and contrasting, it becomes a marvel just to watch them interact with each other. Joel is a character that remembers and laments the time before the outbreak and is trying his best to survive the harsh world around him, whereas Ellie has only known the world around her. She has never known anything different. It's astonishing to see how they differ in opinions and react to the individual survivors they meet on their journey. One of the coolest things, however, is watching how Ellie reacts to relics of the past, such as her first sighting of an ice cream truck. It's utterly charming and provides a fresh and new perspective on the world we live in today. In some ways, it's even a light social commentary on the foundations that we build our own lives upon and what we value to be valuable. The Last of Us is refreshing, as it's rare to see this much work to go into character development, and the most impressive part is the way it just so easily all gels together without problems or forsaking the story in order to get it right. The Last of Us is first-hand proof that Oscar-caliber writing can be created for a video game. The fact that The Last of Us is a 12 to 17 hour game further exclaims how outrageously perfect the narrative is in building characters and making sure that you are along for every second of the ride. Let's just put it this way, if The Last of Us was a movie, it would win Best Picture quite easily.
Oh, I'm sure your friend will be missing this tonight. It's light on the reading, but it's got some interesting photos.
Now, Ellie, that ain't for kids.
Whoa! How the hell would he even walk around with that thing?
Get rid of that.
Well, hold your horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Oh, why are these all stuck together? I'm just fucking with you. Bye-bye, dude!
In short, The Last of Us is the best looking game on the PlayStation 3. The overgrown and forgotten landscape of the desolate post-apocalyptic United States is a bleak sight that is offset by colourful and vibrant colours. Never has a game so dark and gloomy been so pretty. Every single area and environment in The Last of Us has something to behold, whether that be the sight of a city in the distance or a flooded 5-star hotel. Every single aspect of the visual aesthetic is clean and polished to the point of perfection. I have never once entered a level in The Last of Us where I felt that the talented team over Naughty Dog could have done better. The lighting is the best I have ever seen in a video game, bar none, and the character models are so realistic looking that you may even begin to believe they're real. Face captured animations, and all animations for that matter, are superb, and every single action a character makes looks fluid and close to the actual thing. I mean, you just can't fault the game in the graphics department. Every single aspect is brilliant from top to bottom. The standout for me though was the designs of the various infected you'll meet throughout the game. From the newly bitten or the terrifying drones known as the clickers, every single one looks terrifying and moves in an unpredictable, horrific way. Kudos to the team at Naughty Dog, you have made the best looking game this generation.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it'll be faster to go through here.
Man.
What?
Nothing. It's just... I've never seen anything like this, that's all.
You mean the woods?
woods?
Yeah. Never walked through the woods. It's kind of cool.
The sound design in The Last of Us is next to none. The voice acting here is unbelievable. Voice actor extraordinaire Troy Baker assumes the role of Joel with ease and instinct, creating a character that is unprecedentedly conflicted while also at the same time finding the drive to do what's right. Everything about the deep, dreary voice that Troy puts on for Joel is encapsulating, and for a while you'll forget that Joel is fictional because his portrayal is that real. The voice actress newcomer known as Ashley Johnson takes the role of the young 14-year-old Ellie, and she completely nails the role straight out of the gate. The amount of emotion and naivety she brings to the character really cements Ellie as one of gaming's finest achievements. Pure and kind-hearted to the core, Ellie is a character that you will not soon forget about. The soundtrack in The Last of Us is phenomenal too. The composer's mixture of slow pinging guitar strings and fast hyped up tempos really gives The Last of Us a strong feeling of melancholy and age while also allowing it to ramp up when the action begins to start. It's a soundtrack that really plays off the fact that everything we know and love has now aged and become insignificant to us, and the amount of loneliness that comes with living a life in post-pandemic America. The sound effects are spectacular too, with every single hit you make in the game, whether that be a pipe wrench or your bare fists, feeling realistic and brutal. Every single weapon you use has a loud thump to it, and it makes you feel like you are handling something seriously dangerous. Just every single aspect of the sound effect design adds to the survival aesthetic, as everything sounds real and believable. Overall, the sound design in The Last of Us is some of the best sound design I have ever seen.
These posters are everywhere.
I saw this right before the outbreak.
You did? Does he totally gut her by the end?
Nobody gets gutted. It's a dumb teen movie.
Who dragged you to see it then?
I don't know. Let's just stay focused, all right?
Alright.
The Last of Us has a number of gameplay aspects, including melee combat, shooter gameplay, stealth mechanics, crafting, and even some light puzzle elements. First of all, let's cover the melee combat and shooter mechanics. To engage in melee combat in The Last of Us, all you have to do is continuously press the square button and you'll eventually destroy your opponent, whether that be infected or human. Now you may think to yourself that the melee combat sounds way too easy and simple to be any fun, and it must get boring pretty quickly. Well, it's actually quite the contrary. You see, the brutality of every single hit you make, mixed with the sound effects and the reaction of your attacks on the enemy's faces and bodies, make the combat feel like a scramble for life every single time. The crack of a fist into an enemy's face has never felt so good, and a pipe to the head has never felt so visceral. The melee combat here is so simple yet so effective, and I can't help but love every single fight I get into. The shooting mechanics in The Last of Us are great too, but not because the mechanics themselves are innovative, because they are far from it. The main reason why the shooting in The Last of Us is so great is because the cause and effect that goes hand in hand in firing a weapon is so disgusting, bloody, and realistic that every single shot fired looks like it was extremely painful. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I shot an enemy at point blank range with a shotgun and saw his limbs fly off in grotesque fashion, I actually felt kind of disgusted. It's so unbelievably convincing and cruel looking that the violence of it all can be hard to watch, but like any other violent video game, you get used to it pretty quickly and forget about the horrendous nature of it all. The Last of Us heavily involves stealth mechanics into its gameplay style, but the beauty of the stealth here is that every situation feels organic rather than scripted. Usually in video games you get sections that are primarily stealth and others that are primarily action, but in The Last of Us these sections merge so instantaneously and easily that every single thing that happens is a story of your own. The stealth itself works as normal as in any other video game. You can sneak around and take people out either silently or with a shiv. You can use bottles or bricks to lure your enemies to the dark for a takedown. Hell, Joel even has a listening ability that allows him to hear enemies through walls. It's a great system that works well, but the true power of the stealth in Last of Us is mainly shown in the sections that are filled with the infected. You see, the different stages of infected have different types of awareness, the most terrifying of which are the clickers, as they are hugely erratic and can kill you in a single bite. The clickers cannot see, but have a heightened sense of hearing, which means that you have to be extremely sneaky and silent to get to them, to take them out, or to get past them completely. The stealth here works really well because it's beneficial to your survival, and every single encounter with the infected is edge-of-your-seat stuff that is unparalleled in any other video game. The crafting system in The Last of Us is a crafting system simplified to its lowest form, as you can create anything without a problem by just having the right materials. But that's okay, as it makes things a lot quicker and simpler for the player, as the player should be worrying about the serious matters and frightening gameplay at hand, and not worrying about mixing the right materials together. The Last of Us also employs some puzzle sections that involve either moving planks, moving ladders, moving dumpsters, and sometimes even moving Ellie. Let there be said that there is a lot of moving things in this game, and it can get repetitive and boring at points, but thankfully the story makes sure that you keep going and move past these sections in a speedy fashion as not for them to drag on. Overall, the single player gameplay in The Last of Us is unquestionably addictive and a lot of fun. It's rare that you see this many mechanics come together to form such a cohesive and fun gameplay experience.
Oh, creepy. Guess they took the easy way out, huh?
Well, it ain't easy. For many, it was better than letting a clicker or a hunter do it for them. Trust me, it ain't easy.
Last of all, The Last of Us has a multiplayer mode. When I first heard that there was going to be multiplayer mode for this title, I wasn't truly looking forward to it as I just couldn't see how it would work. Thankfully though, it works. It really works. So much so that I think it's better than most multiplayer experiences out there. When you first start off, you are asked to pick a faction out of either the Hunters, a group of survivalists that only believe in the survival of the fittest, and the Fireflies, a rebel group trying their best to save the world. After I chose the Hunters, you then get told that you have to try and keep your clan of survivors to last for 12 weeks in total. Each game takes a day off of your 12-week tally, and after each game your clan will grow in survivors. If you lose all your survivors, you will be forced to pick another side. There is 2 game modes to The Last of Us multiplayer, all of which feature 4v4. You have the supply raid mode that tasks you with killing the other team's 20 survivors before they do it to you first, and you have the survivors mode where you must eliminate the other team without any respawns. What's brilliant about The Last of Us's multiplayer is the fact that almost everything that you've learned from the single player game can be carried over into multiplayer and will benefit you greatly. You can craft in real time, heal yourself, loot, and even use your listen ability to hear the enemies coming. I found myself having fun in every single match, picking other players off and executing them one by one. There's something about The Last of Us's multiplayer that gives you a sense of camaraderie like no other before it. If you loved the single player campaign in The Last of Us, then you'll find the same adoration for the multiplayer.
Down one tourist. Fucker ain't getting up. One down. That one's dead. Ah, shit! That's one!
The Last of Us is my favourite game from Naughty Dog and is without a doubt the PlayStation 3's best exclusive. They've really knocked it out of the park with this title. The excellently written and emotional storyline, the best graphics on the PS3 and the brutal intense gameplay all make The Last of Us one of this generation's best games, and for that I'm going to give The Last of Us a 9.7 out of 10. The reason why I haven't given it a 10 is because I found that some parts of the single player experience felt really repetitive and sometimes boring, i.e. the moving of various planks and ladders. And the fact that the game only has 2 multiplayer modes can bump down the replay value just a tad. But even with those 2 problems, The Last of Us is still a great game and a Game of the Year contender, and is definitely worth your time and purchase if you own a PS3.
Would you play this before?
No. But I had a friend that knew everything about this game. Apparently, there's this character called Angel Knives who'd... what was it? She'd punch a hole through your stomach before kicking your head off.
I'm never a big fan of these things.
I wish I could play it.
Hey guys, if you liked the review, then subscribe to the channel and check out the TeamGamersNetwork.com as we have a ton of gaming goodness waiting for you. Also, if you're interested, I have a Twitter and I post a lot of gaming updates, so be sure to follow me if you love gaming as much as I do. Bye guys.